It's the Orioles on Masson and WJZ on a hazy, hot, and humid night in downtown Baltimore. It's the Orioles and the Indians. Tonight it's the middle game in this three-game series, and it is batting practice cap night at Camden Yards. And hi, everyone, I'm Jim Hunter. 8 days until the non-waiver trading deadline, and the Orioles continue to look around at available starting pitchers to possibly join the team and solidify a run for the postseason. But while that process plays out, the Orioles are hoping the current starting rotation could turn a corner. And maybe the last two games are an indication that that is about to occur. You go back to Thursday in New York, a game the Orioles needed to win. Chris Tillman, 7 outstanding innings, just 1 run on 4 hits. He struck out 7, walked 2, pick up the win. And then last night, in his second Major League start, Dylan Bundy, 5 innings. He allowed just an unearned run on 5 hits. And a key there for Bundy, he did not walk a batter. So, Mike Bordick, that's what it's all about at this moment. Unless somebody comes in from the outside, these 5 have to figure it out and gain consistency.
Yeah, they sure do. But I'll tell you what, they should feel pretty comfortable at Chris Tillman being the ace of this staff. He has become the closer, the stopper of this team. He pitched so well in New York. He's had 4 consecutive 7-inning starts. Probably this start at Yankee Stadium, his best of the 4. Great command of all of his pitches. He was dotting his fastball, locating it very well. And, of course, the secondary pitches came up big as well. But Dylan Bundy, this could be the dark horse right here. He could lead the Orioles to the promised land. Getting stretched out a little bit more. Yesterday's ball game, he was dominant. His fastball was electric. He had a great changeup, so the secondary pitches playing well for him, but the good fastball. And I think Bundy could step up and emerge as a top caliber rotation guy. It could really be huge the second half of this season.
And as we look back the last turn through the rotation, the Orioles pitchers really have come on and given the team a chance to win. 2-3 the 1-loss record, but Mike, what stands out there, the 3.0 ERA. Look at the bottom. For the season coming into this game, the starters combined a 5.01 ERA, 13th in the league. So when you pitch to an ERA of 3, at a minimum, you've given your team a chance to win.
Well, and really that's what it's all about. They have been inconsistent all year long. Tillman the exception as the team's ace, but you know they're striving for that. Buck Showalter preaches it every time he talks about starting pitching, the desire to get deeper into ball games, save the bullpen, at least get to the 6th and try to get the back end. Things are looking up right now with O'Day coming back and Dylan Bundy pitching so well, but it's nice to see everybody just kind of feeling more comfortable, I think, in the rotation, allowing their natural skills to kind of set free here and get a little deeper in the ball game. They're starting to be more relaxed and pitch like a team, and that's huge for them, because if they get a little help with the rotation, this team could go a long way.
And if you look back to the last 2 playoff teams in 2012 and then in 2014, it was following the All-Star break when the starters turned the corner and led the team into October. Maybe we're seeing the beginning of that.
I think so, and I think really it stems from Chris Tillman. July, 129 earned run average. He has stepped up in the dog days.
So tonight, it's the middle game against the first-place Cleveland Indians from the Central on batting practice hat night. Lineups and first pitch are coming up. Lesson is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by your Baltimore BMW centers. Visit BaltimoreBMW.com today for exceptional offers. Well, it's a good day to be out on the Chesapeake, no doubt about that. Our BGE home game time temperature, 95 degrees with 47% humidity. BGE Home is Baltimore's home team for heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical. Why would you call anyone else? And here is the Indians lineup for the middle game of the series. Santana, Kipnis, and Lindor, with Mike Napoli in the cleanup spot. His bat started to heat up right before the All-Star break and has continued since the break. Ramirez is at third tonight, then Chisenhall, Naquin Davis, and Roberto Perez.
And let's take a look at Kevin Gausman's pitch arsenal this season. Fastball 67% of the time. Getting good life with the heater and starting to feel a little bit more consistent about the command with the fastball. Very good outing in his last start. Breaking balls coming. The changeup could play big today. Dylan Bundy used a lot of changeup to really keep this Indians offense at bay. Kevin Gausman holding the opponents to 270 overall batting average, but he has given up the 16 long balls, and there are some home run threats here in this Indians lineup. Santana and Napoli up over 20 home runs each.
Well, it's certainly a good night to stay loose as you pitch, but it is very warm. It is humid. One of those Triple H summer evenings. And Buck Showalter commenting before the game in his media session, wondering about if Major League Baseball should get with the times and give the pitchers something to be able to get a better grip.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that was a reason last night, the ball getting away and hitting Uribe in the ear flap.
Carlos Santana, the switch hitter, will bat left. And we are underway at Camden Yards, down and away for ball one. So he does come off speed on the first pitch.
How about that? First pitch of the ball game, trying to entice a hitter, but Santana, the great eye, lays off.
Line to the gap in left center field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Adam Jones will chase it to the wall, and Santana will cruise into second base with a leadoff double. He is such a real good contact hitter and uses the entire field as he did there.
We'll take a look at the Orioles defense behind Gausman. Reimold, Jones, and Trumbo in the O's outfield. Hardy and Scope will turn the double plays up the middle. Machado and Davis on the corners, and Caleb Joseph once again behind the plate. Matt Wieters' foot feeling better each day. Not quite good enough to be in the starting lineup tonight.
Here's Jason Kipnis, who brings a 6-game hitting streak into this game. He has 11 hits in those 6 games. The Indians are in first place in the AL Central with 56 wins. They have 39 losses. They have the best record in the American League, 1 game better than the Orioles. And it's outside for ball one, so Gausman falls behind each of the first 2 hitters.
Indians team, obviously, their starting rotation from their trademark, but they've played well both at home and on the road. The best teams in baseball on the road. Of course, the Orioles, one of the best here at Oriole Park.
Fouls off the changeup. Good pitch there. 1-1.
Now the changeup really exposed this Indians team yesterday. Dylan Bundy went to it, boy, well above his average in usage, and I think Kevin Gausman paid attention to that, especially Caleb Joseph being the backstop. So look for the changeup to play big, especially with all these left-handers. Kevin Gausman's change fades down and away to the lefties.
Upstairs with a fastball, 2-1. Well, there's something to be said about reading bats, and it could be that Caleb Joseph last night saw all the weak swings on Bundy's changeup, which was exceptional last night. And if you're getting those weak swings, why not go back to it time and again? And they did.
Yeah, they sure did. I mean, he kept going to it. It was money. I don't know that he threw one for a ball. I mean, he was all over the dish with it. Great location.
And the 2-1 is fouled straight back. So 2-2 on Jason Kipnis. Kipnis, a second-round pick of the Indians back in 2009, now in his 6th season. Terry Francona, he's in his 4th year already with the Indians. Of course, he had the long, tremendous run with the Red Sox and won a couple of World Series there. Gausman really taking his time between pitches here tonight. And the 2-2 is swung on and missed. He got him with the changeup, Mike. There it is.
Yeah, beautiful pitch. I mean, this is quality, and it's all about location here. Take a look at the Mercedes pitch track. Beautiful change, great late fade, 85 miles an hour, and the location, it just doesn't get any better than this. Mercedes pitch track, the best or nothing.
Now that pitch could be why Gausman is a reverse split guy.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And most generally that's how it is. The right-handed starting pitchers, typically to keep the lefties at bay, have an off-speed pitch, a changeup or a split finger that will fade away from them. And they use the slider against the right-handed hitters.
Lindor swings through a changeup, 0-1.
Now Gausman has two changes. He has the straight circle change, four-seam change, and he also has the split finger change, the Vulcan change he calls it. I'm sure we'll see that a few different times throughout the ball game, but the Vulcan change is the one that really fades down and away from the lefties.
0-1 on Lindor. And a foul ball, so 0-2. Lindor last year finished second in the Rookie of the Year voting behind Carlos Correa of the Astros. And the difference in that vote may have been that the Astros went to the postseason. Of course, the votes are cast prior to the postseason, but if you help your team get there, you get some support.
Either way, a couple great young shortstops.
Breezy day. There's some weather in the area, mostly north of the city, we're told. And both Lindor and Correa from Puerto Rico, so they have a country rivalry as well. 0-2 the count with Santana at second. And he doesn't chase outside. Well, Kevin has just the one win. He's 1-7. He beat Tampa Bay right here June 25th. And he has pitched much better at home ERA wise than he has on the road. But, the lack of run support continues to be an issue for Gausman as Santana gets his lead off second base.
Yeah, it's been a problem for Kevin his whole career here with the Orioles.
And he strikes him out on a swing and a miss. Blows a fastball by him. So after the double, back-to-back Ks and 2 down.
Well, going to the changeup, really slowing him down, and then 94 looking like 104 at the top of the strike zone. A little movement as it runs away from Lindor. Beautiful pitch from Kevin Gausman.
So he's an out away from getting out of it without a run. But here is Mike Napoli, who is one of the better run producers in this Indians lineup. That's why he's batting cleanup. 22 home runs. He's had at least 17 home runs now for 9 consecutive years. Just inside, 1-0.
Well, he had one of those nothing nights. He's an all or nothing offensive player. He's either going to hit a home run or strike out. And last night he had 4 punch outs.
Well, the Indians last night were 2 for 8 with runners in scoring position, and so far they're 0 for 2. See Napoli in these situations. The other thing about Napoli, and this is why I think he gets so many good pitches to hit, he leads baseball in seeing pitches per plate appearance. 4.59. So he's seeing almost 5 pitches per at bat. So eventually either the pitcher makes a mistake or he gets the pitch he's looking for.
Yeah, well, tribute to him being a great veteran hitter. More pitches you see, yeah, the more mistakes will probably be made, and he waits them out most generally. But he has enough experience to understand when they're going to be more aggressive. So he'll ambush at times, but generally a patient guy, waits it out, waits for his pitch, and then he'll cut it loose.
Here's the 1-0 inside again. He lays off. But you like that Gausman's going in there to a dangerous hitter to show that he'll pitch inside to right-handers.
Yeah, you really have to. You have to be aggressive in there. Dylan Bundy, fearless pitching inside. Most pitchers that have success are aggressive in. And nice to see him actually doubling up in there.
And Napoli ahead 2-0. Breaking ball a little low. Ball 3.
Not a bad pitch though.
So here's Napoli, a typical at bat as Buck Showalter looks on. Waiting it out, looking for his pitch. See what he gets on 3-0 as Caleb sits up outside. Fastball swing and a miss. They challenged him.
Yeah, you did. 3-0. You know the big man's getting the green light, but 95 rushed up and away. Good spot to hit right there. I've seen a lot of the Orioles pitchers start to work all four quadrants. Up and away, up and in, down and away. You have to do that. Work the perimeter of the plate. Keep the hitters guessing.
And down and in ball 4, so he lost it. So Napoli will take a walk. That puts runners at first and second with 2 down. Buck Showalter was saying before the game today, and after the game last night for that matter, that he felt that Bundy benefited from being on the bench and watching Tillman pitch against the Yankees lineup, which is a very patient hitting lineup on Thursday, and then he took that into the game last night. Now maybe Gausman, having seen both those starts, can take what he saw implemented to his repertoire into this game.
Well, it seems like it here in the early going. Much more changeups in the first inning than we have seen in the past from Gausman. Here's the first breaking ball.
5 hitters, he has been strike 1 to just 1. Jose Ramirez, a very valuable player on this team. He came up as a shortstop. He's been getting most of his starts in left field, but he's at third base tonight with Juan Uribe sitting it out after he was hit in the head last night by Odrisamer Despaigne. And a called strike. Another changeup.
Yeah, this is go-to pitch right now. Just trying to slow him down, saving the heat in the middle of the ball game. A little backwards here to start the game off.
2 on and 2 down in the first. Foul back a little late on the fastball, so he watches a changeup for a called strike and then can't get around, and he's down 1-2.
Well, most hitters are gearing up for the heater against Kevin Gausman, especially early in the count. They're not going to give up and sit on a changeup early in the count, start a ball game off. It's just the first inning. They're going to wait and see Kevin Gausman's fastball. They're going to look up and out over. And if you get one, they're going to take a healthy cut. Santana got a fastball up and out over, whistled a double in the opposite field gap. That's what they're looking for. Heaters off Gausman.
Well, as a hitter, and you've been in the batter's box, you know he throws up to 98. If you don't look for that, you're in trouble, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That's why he can get away with some early strikes, off-speed pitches, breaking balls. He can steal strikes in that regard, especially early in a ball game.
25-year-old out of Aurora, Colorado. The 1-2 on Ramirez. Santana and Napoli on second and first with 2 down. Line drive right to Manny, and Gausman gets out of it. He works around the leadoff double. Cleveland strands 2. We head to the bottom of the first. Cleveland nothing, and here come the O's. batting practice hat night. Indian strand 2. We go to the bottom of the first. Here's the Orioles Southwest starting lineup. Southwest, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Jones, Scope, and then Manny Machado. How about those numbers against the Indians? 533 with a home run and 2 ribbies. Davis, Trumbo, and Alvarez with Hardy at short, then Reimold and Joseph.
Well, let's take a look at Josh Tomlin's pitch arsenal this season. The fastball 79% of the time. Not overpowering, but he can manipulate it. Great cutter. And breaking ball 13%. Has a curveball and a change to go along with it. 17 starts, 10 wins for Tomlin. 3.34 earned run average. 107 2/3 innings pitched. He's given up 107 hits, so he'll give up the hits. Opponent's hitting 254 overall, and he will give up the long ball. 22 home runs given up by Tomlin.
Well, that could play into the Orioles' hands as they lead the league in home runs. Here's Adam Jones. First ball swinging and chops it foul.
Yeah, he's going to be all around the plate. He'll work the perimeter though, and he will. This Orioles offense shows they're going to be aggressive tonight, he will start expanding and he will feed on their aggressiveness. That's how he's picked up the wins. That's how he's kept the low earned run average. Feeds on over aggressive hitters. But Adam Jones, huge numbers off Tomlin. Sees him very well. 533, 8 for 15 in his career. Home run, couple RBIs.
Broken bat bloop. That's falling quickly and in for a base hit. It's off the glove of Chisenhall. Nice effort, but he just couldn't get the webbing of the glove there, and it falls in off his glove for a base hit.
Adam Jones staying hot off Tomlin. Pretty good cutter here, getting it off the end of the bat, but right in between Chisenhall and Kipnis. Nice effort. Straight in. One of the toughest plays for an outfielder, diving straight forward, catching it off the thumb, and giving Adam Jones a single.
So each team sees its leadoff man get on. With Adams' base hit, he now has a 6-game hitting streak. 6 for 19 in that streak, so he's starting to get into one of those hot streaks. And this is what we've seen from this lineup all year, except for the losing streak on the road trip where pretty much everybody stopped hitting. Right. To be fair about it, this lineup has been so good in passing the baton or passing the torch, as they like to say. A couple of guys get hot while a couple of guys cool off, then 2 more guys get hot if somebody else cools off. Yeah, when they get a handful of players rolling, it's the best offense in the game, hands down. I mean, they can all do it, especially when the bottom of the lineup starts working. Turn the lineup over. Adam Jones swinging it the way he has been. Man, it gets nasty. They put up big runs in a hurry. And here is one of the hitters who's going the other way at the moment, as Tomlin keeping Jones close. Jonathan is just 2 for his last 19. And since the break, he's batting 182, 6 for 33. So he's looking for that market correction. Yes, he is. A lot of room in right center for him. You see Jones has a good lead. Off speed pitch swung on and missed. We'll take a look at the Indians defense behind Tomlin. Davis, Nakeem, Chisenhall in the Indians outfield. Lindor and Kipnis up the middle. Ramirez and Santana on the corners, and Perez do the catching tonight. 1-on-1 on Scope. And he's facing Tomlin for the first time. And another pop up to right. This one hangs though for Chisenhall. And 1 down as Scope is retired. Adam has to hold at first base. Well, Manny coming to the plate, and Manny's bat is certainly coming on. Yeah, Manny Machado versus the Cleveland Indians in his career. 321, 5 home runs. He went straight away center last night off Bauer, the high fastball. A solo shot. And having a huge year. 20th home run in last night's ball game. Manny is hitting 2 in a row, and he has 4 hits in those games. Leading the Orioles in base hits now with 115. And that is tied for 6th most in the league. It's interesting how much attention pitchers pay to Oriole base runners when the Orioles rarely run. Right. Now I understand he's trying to keep the double play in order here. Too tight, 1-0.
And sometimes that pickoff move might be just to get in the head of the hitter, you know, just to break up his, even though he hadn't thrown him a pitch. Just do a little stall tactic, get in the head, then you start stirring up that anxiety with the hitter. And we talked about him trying to feed on the aggressiveness.
Ooh, low strike, 1-1. Josh Tomlin, Mike, out of White House, Texas.
You can tell that nothing really overpowering. He relies on movement and location. And if the Orioles start trying to go out and hit him, he's just going to keep pulling the string, keep slowing it down, getting him off balance.
Jones again has to dive back in.
Yeah, Adam Jones in his career, the 85 steals and 117 attempts. Cut it down a little bit, picked off a few more times the last couple of years, but boy, there were a couple of years I thought Adam Jones was going to be a 30-30 guy, 30 home runs, 30 stolen bases.
Well, that's because every spring training he talked about it.
Yeah,
and then the season would start and he wouldn't run.
Yeah. Well, he plays so hard in center field, and you know, the guys that are everyday players that are still able to go out there and steal bases and beat up on your body, man, it really takes its toll. I think Adam last year, we saw the effort that he's put in over his career start to take its toll on his body, and even the beginning of this season. So he's had to make some adjustments, and usually the first thing that goes in veteran players is that base stealing. You know, just because it does, it just wears on the body, beats up the legs.
Well, Buck's team has just 13 stolen bases on the year. That is last in the American League. And Manny with a count of 2-2. Jones has gone just once. He's 1 for 1, his only attempt. Bounce foul. He protected the breaking ball.
Well, something that really helps offensive players is if you take some of the guesswork out. And if you're a team that is one-dimensional, and the Orioles are pretty much one-dimensional, home run hitting team, they go up there and they look for pitches to drive. And I'm not saying they're going to go up there and try to hit 500-foot home runs. They're trying to drive line drives through the outfield wall, and they're hitting home runs. So a lot of the guesswork, like hitting behind runners or hitting runs or bunts that come up in ball games, they don't even have to think about that stuff. They're just looking for the baseball and wanting to tear the cover off it. Pretty easy offensive philosophy.
That was a pretty good take right there, by the way.
It was.
3-2. I'm sure Jones will be running here. 3-2 with one down. Here he goes, and it's looped in the right field. That's going to fall for a base hit, and Jones is going to make it to third. Chisenhall will throw. It's safe at third with a slide is Adam. That was actually a pretty good throw, closer than I thought, but Jones hustles in on the base hit by Manny. So two opposite field hits, couple of bloops, and the Orioles in business here in the first.
Well, you see Adam Jones on the move, 3-2 count, and a good thing he didn't let up. A lot of times ball gets in the air, base runners even on a running 3-2 count, they'll slow up for some reason. Adam doesn't. He just keeps on running, and good thing because Chisenhall comes up firing. It is a perfect throw to third base. Adam just in there in time.
Chisenhall came up as a third baseman, so he has a really good throwing arm, which is why they moved him to right field. Well, you need a good throwing arm from the outfield. So Manny gets a base hit. He's now got a 3-game hitting streak. And Chris Davis with a chance to give the Orioles a first-inning lead. Chris tied for 8th in the league with those 22 home runs. Ooh, up and in. Look out.
Chris Davis unfazed here, 87 miles an hour, up and in. To get a little bit of a reaction, but taking it the right way. Turning the back to the baseball, getting the head out of the way. Nice job there by Davis.
Down and in, 1-1.
With that big hole on the left side of the infield. Indians pulling everybody over on the right side. Got to keep the third baseman tight. Just keep Adam Jones close to third, but there's some money over there.
I'm not sure how often he practices hitting ground balls to shortstop, but a ground ball to shortstop here, and he's got an RBI.
Yeah, sure does.
Nobody home over there.
Let's see what Tomlin's trying to do. So really showing him in hard. A couple cutters there. Take a look at Davis's hits by direction. Only 17 to left field. Straight away though, 33-27 pull.
Inside again, so Tomlin not afraid to work Davis inside. Of course, if you miss, it lands in the happy zone, but he's gone in there 3 times in a row.
Yeah, so he'll be staying hard inside with the cutters and maybe go off speed away, softer away.
Breaking ball for a strike. Good pitch. He froze Davis at the plate. So they went inside 3 in a row and then snaps off a breaking ball in the outer part of the plate.
Yeah, your eyes kind of get used to the zone, even though he's up there and he knows his strike zone. He pounded with 3 fastballs in that are moving hard in there, and these are well off the plate. You see the pitch track there, 8 inches at least inside. Your eyes, they make that adjustment in, so it opens up the outside corner, especially when you slow it down like Tomlin did right there, and it just locks the hitter up.
Fans are booing Tomlin. There's Mickey Callaway, the pitching coach. Manny had a 1.5 lead, and he still threw over. So big pitch here, 2-2 on Davis. Runners on the corners and only 1 down. Into the shift, short hop, second out there, throw back to first, safe at first base is the call. So we'll see if it stands. If it does, the Orioles have the lead.
And if it stands, this is the separator for Chris Davis. I don't care striking out every time he puts the ball in play. He runs as hard as he can down the line, and this could prove to be a huge run. The big man flying down there. It's bang bang. Take a look in slow. Foot down.
Yep.
Ball in. Nice job by the crusher.
And Francona has elected not to challenge, so they saw that video. So Hustle gets the Orioles a run. RBI ground out on the fielder's choice. So for a second straight game against the Indians, the Orioles score in the first. And here's Trumbo. Real good pitch located outside, 0-1.
Now Mark Trumbo, first home run since July 9th, and it came in the first inning of last night's ball game. Huge home run. The Orioles, the 3-0 lead in the first.
And he again leads in home runs now with those 29. He passed Todd Frazier of the White Sox. They were tied going into the game last night. By the way, speaking of the White Sox, there was a lot of speculation about an hour ago because Chris Sale was scratched from his start. Maybe it was a trade. Apparently he got into a fight in the clubhouse and the club sent him home.
Jeez.
Apparently it wasn't physical, but apparently there was a lot of shouting going on. So whatever was said, the White Sox took the side of whomever he was in the altercation with. Deep left field. Back it goes and gone for Trumbo. Back-to-back nights he goes deep, and it's a 3-0 Orioles lead.
Well, Trumbo hit it, his 30th, but if not for Chris Davis's hustle down the line, this home run would not have happened here in the first inning. Trumbo with the smash. Once again, the Orioles take the 3-0 lead in the first.
So back-to-back games, 3-0 in the first inning for the Orioles, and here is Pedro Alvarez. Now, Mike, you talked about it. Tomlin's susceptible to the long ball, and he grooved one, and Trumbo all over it.
Yeah, this is pretty impressive here. 88 miles an hour, down and in, off the plate. And Trumbo stays tall and is as direct to the baseball as you're going to see. That was a beautiful home run swing. Man.
And as always, goes right over to Mark Quinn.
Yeah.
Well, Flaherty leaned in there. Hey, I hit the Utah Street. Oh, he got out in front of it. That was a mile high going towards the warehouse. May have hit the warehouse for all we know.
Yeah, I think the Orioles offense starting to understand that they can wait on Tomlin. He does nothing that can overpower this offense. They will not get blown away by anything. They can stay back and wait it out and get pitches they can hit.
Fouls it off to stay alive. Whatever Mark Quinn keeps preaching to Trumbo, I keep listening.
Yeah.
They are always together on the bench during games. Usually Scott Coolball is right there as well, but Quinn and Trumbo always talking about hitting. And a swing and a miss at a real good off-speed pitch, and that will end the inning. But for a second consecutive game, the Orioles strike for 3 runs in the first. RBI ground out for Davis, and the 2-run home run for Mark Trumbo, his 30th of the year. We'll head to the second with the Birds in front. Home field advantage. Kevin Gausman home road comparison going back to the beginning of last year.
Yeah, and Kevin Gausman loves pitching here at Oriole Park. 4 wins here at Oriole Park. 2.45 earned run average, and holding opponents just that 2.17 overall average. But when he takes the road, only 1 win. This year has not picked up a road win. 0-6, 5.54 earned run average. Opponents hitting 293 off Gausman the last 2 years on the road. Certainly those numbers will change when Gausman starts settling in and this Orioles offense continues to get him some runs. The confidence will grow. We'll see the dominant pitcher that he's intended to be.
And he gets ahead of Chisenhall 0-1. Check swing. No appeal. He did not go. Pat Hoberg said he checked. 1-1. Well, Gausman, the lack of run support has been well documented, and rightly so. And the Orioles only get 3.28 runs per game again for him when he's in there. In his 16 starts, 5 times they didn't score a single run. And then in 9 starts, 2 runs or less, including those 5. However, there have been 7 starts in which they've scored 3 or more. And they now gave him a 3-0 lead.
Yeah.
So now I don't think it's going to be okay, Kev. There you go.
Hey, right.
Make it hold.
Hold him up now. I think this Orioles offense starting to feel it right now.
And the 1-2 is sliced to left field. Long run for Reinmold. That ball fading back, and that's out of play, back in the crowd.
And Kevin making some real good pitches. Staying down and away. Executing very well. Of course, second inning proved to be big last night for Bundy, as well as the Orioles put the 3 runs up. Bundy came up and put a huge 0 on the board, which was huge for the offense and Bundy's confidence. Of course, Gausman would love to do that.
And Chisenhall battling here. He's about to see the 7th pitch in this at bat from Kevin Gausman. Foul back. All right, now we mentioned that Buck Showalter pointed out that Bundy watched Tillman on Thursday and took that out to the mound last night. We're assuming Gausman then watched Bundy succeed. Here's the pitch low. Now Vance Worley goes tomorrow, but Vance Worley's not the kind of pitcher these guys are. So even though I'm sure he's watching and he can read the bats, he might not have the repertoire to take to the mound to follow their lead.
No, but you can still get some tells from hitters what they're doing on certain pitches.
Center field for Jones, and one away. So Gausman finally gets Chisenhall for the out. Tomorrow, the celebration of the 50th anniversary of the '66 World Championship team will continue. First 20,000 fans 15 and over at the game at 1:35 received the 1966 Jim Palmer replica jersey, which Mike Bordick showed off last night. It's all presented by UMBC's 50th anniversary. And then after the game, all the kids 14 and under can run the bases here at Oriole Park just as they can following every Sunday home game this year. So don't miss out. Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. And you'll get number 22's replica jersey from the 1966 season. And of course, one of the unique things about that was the name on the back of the jersey was in the black and the number in orange.
Yeah, there he is. And if you watch Hall of Fame inductions this weekend, you'll see Jim there. He's up in Cooperstown.
Yeah, he took a morning flight today.
Yeah.
After his very successful book signing yesterday.
Right. Well, he signed a lot of books. He was sweating.
Did he sign one for you?
No. He hasn't.
1 and 2 on the swing and the miss to Tyler Naquin. Naquin.
We'll take a look at the Nissan pitch track here, though. The high heater. Exposing Naquin there.
He has spent some time in AAA this year, but getting a long look in center field. And a swing and a miss. So Gausman didn't mess around there. A 4-pitch strikeout. And 2 men down.
I like to see it by Gausman, also by Caleb Joseph. He recognized where the bat was on the first fastball up in the top of the zone. He attacks there again. And yeah, Naquin a little late on that heater.
Go Gausman in LSU slang. See, now Ben McDonald were here, he would have known that immediately.
Absolutely. Well, Ben McDonald probably said, "You can do it." He would have hollered at him all Cajun talk. It's LSU guys, you know.
Yeah, but I understand you understand Cajun, so you'd be okay talking to Big Ben. Isn't there a big Cajun up in Maine?
No, those are lobster, not crayfish we eat, or crawfish, whatever they call them.
Blows it by Rajay Davis.
He's starting to get the command of that heater. Wherever Caleb's setting the glove up, he is hitting the spot.
The ball on 2 strikes, 2 outs, and the base is empty. And a weak pop-up, shallow left. Hardy is out. He'll call off Reimold. And Kevin Gausman has that shutdown inning. Orioles get him a lead. 3 up, 3 down, go the Tribe. Mid-second at Camden Yards, 3-0 O's. There he is, Mike. The Miz, the WWE Intercontinental Champion, took his championship belt to the mound throughout the first pitch. Now watch this. He likes the high heat. And look out, Dennis. He almost hit Dennis behind the plate. Yeah, just a little bit high and away, but you know, you come to the ballpark, you get to see fun things like that. It's a lot of fun at the ballpark.
Absolutely.
The Orioles are always looking for something just to make it different.
Well, there are a lot of WWE fans in that Orioles clubhouse. So, you know, they were excited about it.
Now, do you have tickets for the big event in D.C. tomorrow?
No, I don't.
Oh, you missed out, huh?
Yeah.
You want to go? We'll carpool?
No, I'm good. I'm good, thanks. I'm going to do the Orioles game tomorrow.
Well, it's at night.
Oh.
That's why I asked.
No, I got something else to do. Yeah, pay-per-view, that's right.
Well, I'm sure you could find somebody around here that would take your ticket if you had one.
Right.
Because you're right. There are a lot of big wrestling fans here around the ballpark, especially on the crew.
Yeah, definitely.
1-2 on Hardy, leading off in the second. And fights it off to stay alive. Into the camera well. JJ's really heating up. He's hitting 3 in a row, and he has 3 consecutive multi-hit games. And what's encouraging, and we see the Indians are starting to buy into this by where Santana's playing at first base. He is using right field very effectively. And looks it over outside. And Santana is well wide of first base, trying to cut down a line drive if it's hit that way. You see Carlos well wide of the bag, and Kipnis is shading up the middle. And again, he missed outside.
Yeah, they trying to fill up that hole, especially with Tomlin's repertoire. The fastball's away, that cutter that works away. J.J. Hardy, if it's on that outside corner, outer third, he will shoot it to right field.
And he does. Another base hit the other way. Tomlin kept working him out there.
Nice piece of hitting. Take what they give you.
So leadoff single for a second straight inning. Our Maryland Lottery contestant of the game, Joseph Nigin of Kensington, has won $500 for being selected, and will win $500 more for every Orioles home run hit tonight. That's already occurred with the Trumbo home run. You can play Home Run Rich's scratch-offs and win up to $50,000, or enter your non-winning tickets for a chance to be the contestant of the game. Visit mdlottery.com/baseball. And there's a swing and a miss.
And Nolan's been a little bit in between here recently, trying to slow himself down. Susceptible, that outside corner. A little jumpy, maybe that front side leaving too soon. Nolan's so good at tracking the baseball. They're finding himself behind again. Seems like when you struggle as a hitter, you're always 0-2.
And Nolan just 1 for his last 14. That's since the All-Star break. And fights it off to stay alive. Get a look at our PNC inside the numbers. Yep, this guy just doesn't walk it.
Yeah, pretty impressive, right? He's just averaging 1 walk per 9 innings pitched. Has 12 walks on the year and 107 2/3. So he is all over the dish, and the Orioles have to be ready for that. Of course, we have seen him. He is a nibbler, but he won't walk many. He will not work outside the plate and put you on cheaply. He's going to make you hit it.
Hardy's going to love that. Tomlin trying to keep him close. And a swing and a miss. So Raimo goes down on strikes. Big breaking ball. Second for Tomlin, 1 away.
74 located well down at the bottom of the zone, and good finish on the curve. You see him getting over the front of it, and the 12-6er buried down into the dirt. You get Nolan. Tomlin
not really a strikeout pitcher, 6 per game, but when you're only walking 1, you're helping your cause. Here's the suddenly heating up Caleb Joseph. Strike 1. Josh Tomlin 10-2, and he is perfect on the road. 6-0 and 9 starts away from Progressive Field. Another throw to first.
How about Tomlin? 87 pickoff throws, no pickoffs.
Well, my question to you is, does he know that's J.J. Hardy?
I know. Well, and just the Orioles. You talked about it earlier, that the Orioles just don't run. And that's why I think he uses that pickoff as just part of breaking up rhythm and timing of the hitter. So he'll do pickoff plays, and the hitter will step out, think of something else, and he'll either slow him down or come back with one of his better fastballs. So everything used just to break rhythm and timing for Tomlin.
Caleb down the left field line. That is a foul ball. Just foul.
Man, Hardy was going too.
Well, I think Tomlin is well aware of those 2 stolen bases Hardy had back in 2013. That's the last time he's had a steal.
Yeah. Take a look at Caleb jumping on the breaking ball, but getting it out in front a little too much, causing it to hook. Just foul down the left field line.
Well, 0-2 on Caleb. Down and away, 1-2. Tomlin was a 19th round draft pick. He pitched in college in his native Texas at Texas Tech. 2006, worked his way through the system and made his major league debut in July of 2010. He has 46 big league wins. This is very entertaining.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Hardy try to steal the base just to show him. 1-2 on Joseph. 1 on and 1 down. And a good protective swing, almost hit his teammates in the dugout there. Ryan Flaherty and Vance Worley. Don't advance, he's pitching tomorrow.
Another good cutter.
Scott Coolball didn't bother him at all. Flaherty said hit it that way. Caleb 4 for 7 in the last 2 games. Back-to-back multi-hit efforts. Fouls it back.
Well, he's having a good at bat right now. He's on these pitches. Better control of his body. I think start getting some hits. That helps you relax. More comfortable in the box. You see the Mercedes pitch track here targeting Caleb down and away. Some cutters. Back up the 2-seamer.
And there's a ton of room on that side for Caleb to hit it that way. With Santana holding the bag, Caleb could just poke a ground ball and get a base hit. You see where Kipnis is up the middle. So he's pitching against his defense, not to his defense. So Caleb's already seen 7 pitches, and he's worked the count to 2-2. Tomlin, 31 years old. And without a doubt, a man who loves room service. 10 wins on the year, 6-0 on the road. Bounce towards third. That's a fair ball. Ramirez to second, 1 out there. Back to first, and a double play. Just got it there ahead of Caleb Joseph. So Tomlin wins that at bat. The double play ends the inning through 2 at Camden Yards. 3-0 O's. Is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By the Bob Bell Automotive Group, driven to be the best. And by Royal Farms. Royal Farms new and delicious hand-pulled chicken sandwiches. Come on in for great tasting varieties. Enjoy one today. Nice night, however. The grounds crew now behind the tarp. Weather in the area. Now, there was a storm that went through north of the city earlier. But it's so hot and humid, you never know when it might crop up. 38 pitches to get through 2 innings. Gausman allowed the leadoff double in the first, eventually got out of it. Roberto Perez, the catcher, leads off, and there's a strike. Perez had a tough year. He suffered a broken right thumb and suffered ligament damage in a collision at the plate when the Indians played the Phillies on April 30th. Inside, 1-1. He went on the DL the next day on May the 1st and didn't come off until July 17th.
Kind of being perfect timing, right? Because when he came off the DL, that's when Gomes went on the DL. They lost their other catcher.
Yeah, Yan Gomes out with a bad shoulder. And he had been playing with an injury and didn't realize it. Terry Francona's club, though, somehow has been able to stay afloat. Of course, in June, when you go out and win 14 in a row, that helps you pad the 1-loss record.
A pretty impressive run they had that month.
And the 2-2 pitch swung on and hit past the mound, but Hardy's there. And JJ will gun it to first for the out. And one away here in the Cleveland third. Mark your calendars, fans, for Friday, August 19th. That is the next fireworks night here at Oriole Park. You could stick around after the game against the Astros. It is a beautiful fireworks display presented by the Baltimore area credit unions. Gather up your family and friends and come on out and join us. You get the game, then you get the fireworks show. So get your tickets. Don't miss out. Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD.
Juan Uribe taking one off the ear flap. Espana fastball got away. Take a look at last night's ball game. Oof. 2 strikes on Uribe, so he's staying in there. And he just did not pick this ball up at all. Fortunately, it caught him on the helmet.
Well, apparently before the game, to show everybody that it was okay, he was kidding around in there pretending he was angry and he wanted retaliation, and then he started laughing.
Oh.
Ooh, close pitch. 3-0 on Carlos Santana. It's Carlos tied for 3rd in the league in walks with 54. And right there. And 3-1 as Gausman faces Santana. And he lost him. And there's a 1-out walk. 2nd walk already allowed by Kevin Gausman. Let's get a look at our Jeep Inside the Numbers. And who do you hit him against and how often?
Highest percentage of home runs off right-handed pitching. Well, the Cleveland Indians leading the way. 107 home runs off the righties. 125 total on the year. That's .856 percentage. You knew the Orioles were going to be on the list. They've hit 114 against the right-handed pitchers. Of course, they're leading the league with 144 home runs.
Jason Kipnis now outside. Kipnis struck out in the first after Santana led off with a double. So not able to advance Santana, who eventually was stranded at second base. And a strike on the corner. He's not all over the place, but he's just missing those close pitches. So the at-bats are prolonged and the pitch count begins to mount. But he has good stuff.
Yes, he does.
The 1-1 has hit the center field. Adam Jones back on it. Blows a bubble. Has it for the out, 2 down. That ball sounded terrific off the bat, and then it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I think it must have either gotten off the label or the end of the bat, and a result of moving your pitches around and changing the speeds. Get them off the fastball a little bit. Yeah, looked like a good swing, but just enough movement and the break of the rhythm. He gets that second out.
Francisco Lindor, he struck out his first at bat, one of 3 Gausman strikeouts. Gausman is facing the Indians here tonight for just the 3rd time in his young career. And a strike. He has 1 career win against Cleveland, and it was in Cleveland in 2014. And that's his last road victory. That game against the Indians. It was in August of 2014. Just outside, 1-1. This year he's 1-1 at home and 0-6 on the road. He has 4 no decisions away from Camden Yards. And even though he pitched really well in New York on Monday, he took a loss. 6 2/3, just 2 runs, and couldn't get a win. One and 2.
Well, he threw the ball very well in New York, and their lineup was similar to this Indians lineup with all the lefties. So the game plan not changing too much. Expect a pretty good game out of Gausman.
Dave Wallace looking on. Going over the notes. In the dirt, Lindor won't chase. Well, we showed you in the open the last 2 starts with Tillman and Bundy, each allowing 1 run, and Bundy's last night was unearned. It's the 3rd time this year that Orioles starters have done that, got back-to-back games allowing 1 run or less. They did it the first 2 games of the season against Minnesota, and then they actually had a 4-game stretch in early June. 4 consecutive starts, 1 run or less. 2-2 pitches foul back. And Gausman looking for a win. He'd like to extend that. As the Orioles starters ERA is creeping down in the right direction.
Yeah, you'd like for him to get a nice little roll here in the second half of this season.
Another extended at bat. 2-2 on Lindor. Check swing outside. He wouldn't chase it. Full count.
Good try, though, cutting that one loose. 96 miles an hour up there. Best fastball velocity wise of the game so far for Kevin Gausman.
Well, Santana will be off with the pitch. 3-2 with 2 down. Davis yelled over to Gausman to let him know that he was going to play behind the runner. Santana having a conversation with Chris. This will be the 7th pitch in this at bat to Lindor. Poked foul. That'll be back out of play. Nice play by the ball boy.
Very good play.
And he just made a youngster happy.
Nice shoestring play right here.
I got it.
Nolan isn't going to be able to make the play, so he takes charge.
Good for him. So Lindor to see an 8th pitch in a stubborn at bat against Gausman. Santana goes. The payoff pitch is foul back.
Some good pitches right here. Change up away, fastball away. Lindor spreading out a little bit. Very quiet in the 3-2 count. Had success at the top of the zone. See targeting down and away though on Lindor.
And the 3-2 swung on and missed. He came in with a changeup, and Lindor corkscrews into the ground. What a job there by Gausman. A 1-out walk and 1 left. Mid-third, 3-0 O's. DJ Durkin's inaugural season are on sale now and start at just $160. Visit umterps.com or call 1-800-I'm-a-Terp to purchase. Fear the new era, fear the Turtle. And fear the Orioles' home run ability. Josh Tomlin found out about that in the first as Mark Trumbo for a second consecutive game at a first-inning home run. Adam Jones will lead off. He got the rally going with a leadoff single in the first. Scope and Machado will follow. And it's outside. Light rain has started to fall here at Camden Yards. Off speed pitch, swung on and fouled off.
I don't see any clouds out there.
Yeah.
Must be behind us, huh?
Now right over us where we can't see through the ceiling. And there you see the light rain. High fly ball to center field. It's playable there for Naquin as Adam got under it. And he's got it for the out. One away here in the Oriole third. On Saturday, August 20th, the first 25,000 fans 15 and over at the game against the Astros receive a Crush Davis bobblehead. Now this is a unique collector's item, and it features the Oriole slugger dressed up as his superhero alter ego right there with his trusted sidekick Samson. The item is sure to become an instant fan favorite, so don't miss out. Get your tickets at Orioles.com or call 888-848-BIRD. Scope takes a strike. Jonathan flied out his first at bat. And quickly 0-2.
Tomlin going to that breaking ball a few more times. He realizes he's got to slow this offense down a little bit more than he anticipated. That slow curve coming into play.
This is really some sight here at Camden Yards, because Mike is right. The skies that we can see are blue, and yet it's raining. It's a light rain, but it's still coming down. There's the cloud, Mike.
There it is.
It is right behind us. It may not even be raining in center field. Another hanger pulled foul. Jonathan out in front. Tomlin is part of an Indians rotation that has the best ERA in the American League. Their starters have pitched to a 3.62 ERA, and they have 43 wins, tied with the Blue Jays for the most by starters. Swing and a miss. He got him with a changeup. So 2 men down there. Strikeout number 3.
Well, pretty good cutter right there from Tomlin. Slows him down with a couple breaking balls. And here, the cutter. Actually, a little slider type movement. A little tilt on the end. And speaking of the winning, best team record when pitcher starts. Strasburg 16-2. There's Tomlin down there at the bottom. 14-3 record. Now he's 10-2 on the year. But the team plays better when he's on the bump. 14 wins. Of course, Chris Tillman for the Orioles getting the wins.
Ground ball to first. Right there is Santana, and Tomlin has a 3-up, 3-down inning. So we are through 3 at Camden Yards. Darren O'Day on the bench. Birds have the lead. Enter a rain delay as the grounds crew is putting the tarp on the field. And welcome into the booth Jim and Mike on this Saturday night, and not what Kevin Gausman needed. He's pitching really well, a 3-0 lead heading to the 4th, and unfortunately there's some unsettled weather out there, and there must be a cell right over Baltimore, because as we look out from our booth to center field, we see blue skies, but yet they're putting the tarp on the field.
Right, tarp is on the field right now, and hopefully this just shoots through, because you really love to have Kevin Gausman stay out on the bump. If it's too long, Buck Showalter won't take the chance of trying to restart him. So Kevin Gausman throwing a real nice game right now. Nice that the Orioles took the early lead with the Trumbo bomb as well.
Yeah, the Orioles getting 3 runs in the first inning for a second consecutive game. So Gausman went out. He allowed a leadoff double, then a 2-out walk. So 2 on with 2 down. He got out of it, and then his team gets him a lead and really can calm a pitcher down by getting an early lead.
Oh, absolutely. I think he needed that. He's had run support problems all year long, actually his whole career. So it's nice to spot him the 3 runs. He actually looked like he settled in. That second inning, he kind of carved right through the Indians lineup. It was a good shutdown inning for him after the Orioles put the 3 runs on the board. So he has command of all of his pitches right now. Caleb Joseph's working him tough. It's been a nice little run for Caleb Joseph and the starters. And unfortunately, a little rain delay here right now kind of puts a hold on that. So like I said, hopefully Gausman doesn't lose this start.
Now, we talked about how the Orioles starting rotation obviously is looking to improve as a group, and we've seen signs of that the last time through the rotation. And I'm just wondering from a player standpoint, and you can certainly give us some good perspective on this. The rumors are everywhere, even though most of the rumors, are just flat out false. It's just someone trying to create some attention for something. How much, though, does that have an impact on the current group, knowing they want to be part of this?
Well, their games are getting lifted up. And I think the players on the field right now, they know what they have. They know in spring training, they knew they weren't going to be able to go out and bust the free agent market, grabbing guys. Buck Showalter reminds them of that. This is what the organization is, and they're going to be tested AAA, AA, so they try to stockpile, get a little bit of depth in the organization. And right now, they're calling on the hands, the farm hands, to step up and be the guys. Dylan Bundy right now could be the difference maker in this team. Really could. He could stabilize this rotation. Kevin Gausman as well. He's been kind of wishy-washy the first half. They need him to step up. So the guys from within could be the trades that, you know, we're all kind of thinking about. The Orioles got to make these blockbuster deals. Well, they could be right here in our backyard. Dylan Bundy could be the guy. Getting Darren O'Day back into the bullpen will definitely help the bullpen. And then we'll have the length, Worley and you know, Gallardo, Despagne again coming out of there. So things are looking pretty good, but a lot of it hinges on a couple of the younger pitchers, Bundy and Gausman, of course.
And as the current rotation is structured, if those pitchers just pitch up to that ability you talked about, they'll be okay. And there is depth in the organization. Tyler Wilson got called back up again today. That's to be in the bullpen because Ubaldo Jimenez and his wife are expecting a child. So Ubaldo was placed on paternity leave, and they're starting to take the tarp off the field. So it was a quick sell that went through as we're in a short rain delay here. But there is depth from within. And here's the roster move from earlier today as Ubaldo goes on the 3-day paternity leave. So with Despagne pitching last night, they needed a long man tonight if Ubaldo wasn't here. So Tyler Wilson comes up and he fits a need.
Yeah, and Tyler Wilson has shown his versatility. He works well out of the pen and also works well as a starter. So whatever Buck Showalter needs out of Tyler Wilson will do. It's good that his arm is getting refreshed, I think. I think his arm got a little tired early on. A lot of emotions going on where Tyler Wilson maybe overthrowing. So kind of back in a groove, arm feeling good again. So he will make an impact or a difference in the Orioles bullpen here tonight or until Ubaldo comes back.
All right, so the tarp is being removed. And we're coming back to Camden Yards. The crew chief Brian Gorman out on the field with Nicole McFadden talking it over. Where's that cell here in Baltimore? Puts the tarp away, and the Orioles are anticipating getting back Darren O'Day very, very soon, maybe as soon as tomorrow. Jim and Mike back in the broadcast booth. And he did go pitch a rehab game last night for Bowie, and he pitched very well against live competition.
Yeah, that's real encouraging. And Darren O'Day, he threw well, and he was tested as well. He had to face some lefties who've given him some problems in the past, and he had to kind of make up some pitches, attack those lefties. And he said he had got to use everything. So he felt pretty good about the outing, which is very good news.
All right, let's hear from Darren O'Day and Buck Showalter about O'Day's pending return to the roster.
The outing was good. I felt good. Yeah, I get to execute most of my pitches. Felt good to get back out there, and I had a base runner, so that was good. That got to remember what that's like, pitching with guys on base and working through counts. So yeah, it was altogether positive.
It's kind of a baseball thing whether we'll activate him tomorrow or let him throw again or activate him Monday, not tonight. So I think we're waiting for a few other things to fall before we, I know Wally and Dom and Richie and I'll sit down after batting practice.
So the grounds crew continuing to work to put the tarp away so this game can resume as we head to the top of the fourth. So that's really good news. Darren O'Day about to come back. He's such an important member of the bullpen. In fact, he's been out for so long that Brad Brock has replaced him in that 8th inning. And Buck was even asked before the game, are you going to alter how you use them? Because he has been so effective, Brad Brock.
Yeah, Brad Brock really stepping up in Darren O'Day's absence, becoming a premier bullpen arm. I mean, he could be a closer on many teams right now. Swing and miss stuff, and he and Britton at the end have just become dominant. Of course, both spent some time over the All-Star break in San Diego at the All-Star game. Very deserving of that. But Darren O'Day been a mainstay in this bullpen. Tyler Wilson heading out to the bullpen as well. A little long relief in there. But Darren O'Day is going to be the stabilizer, much like how J.J. Hardy in the Orioles infield, when he spent some time on the disabled list, and it seemed like the Orioles started making some errors. The errors started mounting. There was no consistency, it seemed, defensively. J.J. came back, defense stabilized, settled in. I think Darren O'Day is going to do the same in the bullpen, even though the bullpen's been outstanding even in his absence.
Well, you know, and the other thing about it is, and we can go back to 2012, wild card year, 2014, division year. It was after the All-Star break that the real consistent winning began. And even though the Orioles weathered a 4-game losing streak on the road trip, they got the win in the finale, which turned a road trip that might have been 2-5 into 3-4. Big difference. Came home and won last night. Now the lead today. So there's a lot of history here that these players know. They've been through it before, so they know how to go about revving it up again.
No, you're exactly right there. And you cannot put a value on the veteran leadership on this team. Adam Jones, Davis, O'Day, Hardy, these guys that have been through into the postseason. They've worked through this 162-game schedule, made it to the postseason. They know what it takes. They've won a division. This team basically has won the American League East. They know what it's going to take, second half especially, stepping up. And the young pitchers are going to have to be led by pitchers like Darren O'Day.
So Kevin Gausman out to the mound. He'll begin his warm-up tosses as we are about to head to the top of the fourth. We'll take a break and come back to Camden Yards. Rain delay almost complete. The O's have a 3-0 lead. RAV4 Hybrid, all-wheel drive and unexpected performance. Visit buyatoyota.com. Now look at those beautiful skies now. As we had a short rain delay. One of the more unusual things we've seen here at the ballpark. It wasn't raining in Canton, which is not that far away from here. I don't think it was raining in the center field bar above the batter's eye, but it was raining right over the field, so they had to cover the field so it didn't get too drenched, where they would have to then manicure it afterwards. So Nicole, who's the best in the business, went to the crew chief. Brian Gorman suggested, let's put the tarp on. It'll be brief, and then we'll get back at it. And here we go.
Well, good for Buck Showalter and Kevin Gausman. The short rain delay keeping Gausman on the hill.
Don Cheedy out in the bullpen talking with Despaigne, who is not available tonight. Kevin Gausman's hoping the long man is a needed period.
Yeah, exactly.
Good. Buck Showalter and Dan Duquette had the mid-season State of the Orioles with the fans today, and one of the fans asked Buck about working the back end of the bullpen, and he said, well, you know how I like to work those late innings, you know, when Gausman goes 8 or 9 until he goes 8 or 9, and I'm sure that's what they're all thinking as they go to the mound. So here's Mike Napoli to lead off. We are about to resume. Ramirez and Chisenhall will follow. Hopefully it won't have an effect on Gausman. And the breaking ball bends in there for a strike. Gausman has struck out 4. He has walked 2. He's allowed 1 hit. That was a double to the first batter of the game. And late time granted at the plate by Quinn Wolcott. Mike Napoli, a big time run producer. He is 6th in the league in RBIs. Look out. That ball was blistered near the photographer's well.
Way out in front of the changeup. 83 miles an hour. He squared it up, but that's about all he's going to do with it. Pull it foul for strike 2.
One and 2 as the fastball misses. Gausman in search of a second win. And a high pop-up. Davis at first. Scope at second. It's going to be Davis. And he's got it for the out. And 1 down here in the 4th. Here's our PNC minor league report, brought to you by PNC for the achiever in you. And here's somebody who's achieving.
Yeah, Cameron Nealon for sure. 26-year-old. He's undrafted free agent back in 2013. He's playing independent ball, and he was tearing it up. So the Orioles take a chance. Well, starting to pay off. Last 13 games, .412 batting average, 3 homers, 16 RBIs. Had 9 multi-hit games in the last 13. And he's had himself a pretty good month of July as well. Good to see Cameron Nealon playing so well with the Frederick Keys.
And I think he's been paying attention to what goes on in Baltimore and how much Buck Showalter and Dan Duquette like versatile players. He has played first base, second base, shortstop, third base, left field, and right field. And he's already put in a request to maybe go in there behind the plate and catch just in case he's needed. So when you can move around like that and you can hit, you become extremely valuable to the big club.
Well, you've got that right. And when you're undrafted, you've got to do everything you can. See Ryan Flaherty there. Pedro Bourbon.
And Flaherty defensively has become that type of player.
Yeah, super utility.
I mean, because of the virus going around and the injuries in New York, Ryan had to start at first base and he had to start in right field. So it's good to see guys like Cam Nealon taking advantage of the opportunity. And there's a base hit up the middle. 1-out single for Jose Ramirez. And the second hit for the Tribe. Gausman, after each base hit, when he gets the baseball back, immediately throws the ball out of play. Now, I don't know if he doesn't like that it got dinged up a little bit, or he's angry at the baseball that it went for a base hit. But he does it every single time an opposing hitter gets a base hit.
Yeah, I mean, everybody, I guess, has their quirks, their routines. That'd be something for Gausman. Just get rid of it.
Here's Chisenhall. Foul back the other way. Lonnie Chisenhall had an interesting year last year. When the Indians season began, he was their starting third baseman. And then he was sent out to AAA, where he stayed for 7 weeks, nearly 2 months, because they wanted to convert him to the outfield, and he learned how to play right field. And when he came back, he was no longer the starting third baseman. He was the starting right fielder. Now, at times, occasionally, extra inning games and things like that, he may go back to third, but for now, he's a full-time outfielder for Terry Francona. But You know, here's a guy, 26 years old last year, was in his 5th season, and they asked him, you know, this isn't working out so well. We're going to try out here, and he did it.
Yeah, well, a tribute to him and the desire to stay at the major league level, help his team any way he can, and more good news for Cameron Nealon, right?
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, here's a guy that time in the major leagues, and they had to send him down to the minors to learn a new position, learn the positions in the minor leagues. He might not have to get sent back down, get that opportunity in the big leagues.
Yeah, because the one thing you know they'll notice is the bat. If you're tearing it up, they're going to notice that.
Yes.
1-2 on Chisenhall. Runner at first, 1 down. Double play ball. Scope. Hardy. Davis. 4-6-3. That erases the 1-out base hit. So Kevin Gausman pitching very, very well. Bottom of the 4th we go. 3-0 O's. Here we go to the bottom of the 4th, and Chris Davis will take ball 1 from Josh Tomlin. Trumbo to follow, then Pedro Alvarez. Orioles got the 3 in the 1st, and Davis had the key at bat. It was 1st and 3rd, 1 down, and it takes down and in for ball 2, and he hit a ground ball to the second baseman Kipnis, but they couldn't turn 2. Lindor's throw to first. Davis just beat it. Jones scored from 3rd. And a couple of pitches later, Trumbo hit a 2-run homer. Foul back the other way.
The game changer. I mean, that's the little things, the detail of a ball game that Buck Showalter loves so much, that changes the outcome of so many ball games in the course of a season. And really can be the difference maker. You know, the team has success or not.
Outstanding changeup there, 2-2.
Really pulling the string here. Slowest breaking ball of the day, 72 miles an hour.
So 2-2 on Davis. Outside corner, called strike 3, and Davis does not agree. Says something to Quinn Wolcott as he walks away.
Work him in, slow him down with the breaking ball, and then 87 on the outside corner. Davis not liking it. You see that front hip kind of leaving. It makes that front corner seem unhittable. No chance he can reach that.
And here is Mr. Trumbo, and Coons.com brings you our American League leaders, brought to you by Coons.com. Over 2 million vehicles sold and counting.
Now Orioles leading the way with 3 players with 20 home runs or more. Of course, Trumbo, Davis, and Machado picking up his 20th in last night's ball game. The Indians have a couple. Santana 21 and Napoli has 22 home runs.
Mark Trumbo with 30 now to lead the league. And on the outside corner, Trumbo doesn't like the call.
Man, that plate's getting bigger.
And he doesn't chase. "31 years old is Josh Tomlin in his 7th big league season.
One thing that's pretty impressive about Tomlin, other than that cutter right there, pretty impressive. Nice late movement. 25 miles an hour, and he's getting just enough on the outside edge. Take a look at the Nissan pitch track. And there it is, 2 or 3 inches of movement, getting on the side of the baseball. Looks like the fastball coming out of the hand. And just enough movement to keep it off the barrel. Tomlin's been with the organization, this Indians organization, longer than anybody. Longest tenured Indian. 11 years with the Tribe.
Tomlin to the right of the mound on the cue shot by Alvarez in a very quick 3-up, 3-down inning. We are through 4 at Camden Yards with the Birds in front. Three-game interleague series begins on Monday with the Colorado Rockies at Oriole Park. Now the game times for the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday's games are all at 7:05, and tickets start as low as $15 and are still available. So get your tickets and come on out. Interleague baseball. To get yours, Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. And the Colorado manager, Walt Weiss.
Yeah,
you know him a little bit.
Salty Walter Weiss, yeah, former teammate with Oakland.
Dad just got a good message. Maybe his son made the team. Kevin Gausman has been in command. He's had 1 3-up, 3-down inning. That was in the second. 73 pitches. Well, maybe a few more than he would like to have thrown through 4 innings. But he's doing a good job of not giving in to the hitters.
No, he's working. I mean, he's setting hitters up at bat to at bat. I like the way he's throwing. I like the game Caleb Joseph is calling right now.
Down and away, 1-0. Tyler Naquin leading off. Kevin has 4 Ks. He has walked 2, which is right at his average for a game with the walks. Came in averaging 1.9 per 9 innings. And averaging about 8.5 strikeouts per game. Dave Wallace has to be pleased with what he has seen so far.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Command of all of his pitches. Hitting his spots, change-ups, playing big. Looks like it did for Bundy in last night's ball game. If things go right here, Caleb should be asking for the high fastball.
Swing and a miss. Well, it was a fastball, wasn't high, but he still got it by him.
Yeah, good heater. Playing it off the change up down and away. Caleb flashing the glove at the top of the zone, but 93 down the middle gets him anyway. Challenged with the fastball.
Number 5 for Kevin. And Caleb working very well. Caleb is really getting his work in. There's a base hit to left field. That one hung. Rajai Davis did miss it. So a 1-out single for the Indians here in the 5th inning. Here's the Mile One upcoming schedule. Mile One Automotive offering you 20 convenient locations throughout the Baltimore area. Visit us in store or online at mile1.com. Finale tomorrow here against the Indians, 1:30, Masson 2 and WJZ as well. Then Colorado to town. Masson on Monday and Wednesday, Masson 2 on Tuesday. And then the Orioles will head out for a 4-day road trip to 2 cities. Minnesota for a makeup game Thursday, and then next weekend in Toronto. So Gausman back to the stretch. He allowed a 1-out single in the 4th, but then got a double play ball. Here's Roberto Perez. So the first will chase Rajai Davis, who you do have to pay attention to. Davis is 2nd in the league in stolen bases. Kevin usually controls the running game. There's been only 1 steal against him. They have not caught one, but there's only been 1 attempt. Foul got a piece of somebody, either the umpire or Caleb. I think it was the umpire.
Now a foul ball catching him right on the shoulder. All exposed on the inside corner. You see Caleb Joseph setting up away, so his whole body exposed. Foul ball over the top of the glove and squares him up on the right shoulder. A little pad adjustment. Cover up that collarbone. It tore the pad right off.
Caleb offering his assistance. He's such a nice guy.
Hey, he knows the pain. He knows the pain.
So 0-1 on Perez. And down and in, 1-1. Now, if it was anyone other than Rajai Davis, you might think, well, he's not going to run. I mean, they're down by 3. Number 9 batter's up, so you're about to turn the lineup over. But he's 24 out of 27.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing out there.
So if you can get the scoring position, and he certainly has shown he can, he may go. Outside. And at a minimum, what he's doing is he's splitting the attention here of Gausman.
Absolutely. That's really what base stealers generally do. They just get in the pitcher's head, loses his focus for a split second, and here comes the cookie. Well, right now, Davis getting out there, moving the body a little bit. He might not have any intention of stealing. He just wants Gausman to pay attention to him. Ooh, a little flinch.
Very close. Now Caleb has done his usual good job. There are the numbers. The 24 steals, 2nd in the league. Only Altuve has more. And he has not picked off a batter on the year. This was coming into this start. 23 attempts at pickoffs. Well, 2-1 on Perez, the number 9 batter. Inside ball 3. So Gausman keeping a close eye on Rajai Davis, falls behind a batter who is 0 for 15 on the year.
Yeah, maybe getting a little too quick off the speed of Davis at first. And get back into that glove.
A walk here brings the tying run to the plate. Davis bluff going, double play ball. Hardy, scope. Davis scoops it out, and Gausman gets out of it. So back-to-back innings, a one-out single that was followed by a double play ball. Mid-fifth at Camden Yards, 3-0 O's. Is brought to you by T-Mobile. Well, up at Rogers Center today, the Mariners beat the Blue Jays 14-5. R.A. Dickey knocked out in the 4th inning. Nelson Cruz 2 for 5. He had 2 home runs. 1 was a grand slam. 7 RBIs for Nelly. He is the 2nd player in big league history to have 3 7 RBI games against the same team. Ralph Kiner was the first of the Pirates. He did it against the Dodgers. And look at those numbers in scoring position for Seattle. Giants beat the Yankees 2-1 in 12 innings. Williamson had a big game, 2 for 5 with a home run, 2 RBIs, and he got the go-ahead single in the 12th inning. Cueto started when 6 shutout innings. Nova started when 7 innings allowed 1 run. And here's Hardy. He'll take a strike. So the Orioles was going to hand the scores to Karen. She doesn't need those. Just by habit. Check swing, and he went too far, 0-2. The Orioles can gain on Toronto if they win here. The Blue Jays began the day 2 games back of the O's. Orioles are back in first place. There are the standings. The Red Sox are a half game back. Now Boston has come from behind to get a lead against Minnesota. That game at Fenway Park. Outside 1-2 on JJ. Minnesota had a 4-1 lead, and Boston has come back to take a 6-4 advantage.
Yeah, they have one of those offenses as well that you just can never count out.
5-run bottom of the 2nd for the Sox. Hanley Ramirez hit another home run. Run came in on a wild pitch, and Pedroia had an RBI double. Swing and a miss. He got him. That is a real effective pitch. Comes in off speed, and it dips down towards the plate.
Yeah, it's the big finish on the end. So good tight rotation. It holds itself up, and looks like it's going to stay a strike. See J.J. Hardy well out in front, but right when it looks like it's going to be on the plate, it just disappears. Bites down hard under the zone.
Hardy, a comebacker. Tomlin will quickly get it to first, and 2 men down. For every Orioles walk, CareFirst Blue Cross Blue Shield contributes $50 to support the Be More for Healthy Babies. The Orioles have drawn 282 walks for a total of $14,100. CareFirst Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and a more active lifestyle. So Reimold hits the comebacker. 2 outs, nobody on. It's 9 in a row retired by Tomlin. Hardy single leading off the second, the last Oriole to reach. Oh, and 1 on Caleb. And a foul back.
You know, we talk about Tomlin and not really the overpowering arsenal. I mean, nowadays it just seems like everybody's rushing up there mid-90s and the power cutter, you know, 91, 92 miles an hour. Tomlin just pitching.
And a base hit to right field for Caleb. And another good approach going with the pitch bite.
Caleb Joseph, nice piece of hitting right here. Elevated fastball, stays on top, shoots it the other way. Look at Tomlin's delivery. Back turn, but it's a short arm. Again, doesn't get long in the back, so there's some deception. Comes from behind the head, much like Zach Britton. Very tough to pick up the short armors.
So the lineup turns over for Adam. And a big swing and a foul back.
Yeah, Adam goes through some stages where the front side just leaves a split second too soon. And if he's on it just a hair longer, he drives that ball right center field. And Scott Coolbaugh really got into it, the work a month ago when Adam Jones started going to the top of the order. And Adam put the time in. He got on a tremendous tear to lift his numbers, power numbers, everything. Batting average climbed. Like to see him a little more consistent with that front side, just a hair longer, and driving that ball the opposite way.
There's a base hit. That one hung, and Adam didn't miss it. So Caleb will go to second. Orioles have a 2-out rally going here. Adam has a 2-hit game. He's extended his hitting streak to 6 in a row. And now with his 26th multi-hit games, gets a runner to second.
Well, the one thing about Adam, though, the lower half is on time. He's able to keep it behind on the slow breaking ball and pull it for the knock.
So here is Jonathan Scope, who is certainly due. He's 0 for 2 tonight, 2 for his last 21, and 6 for his last 35. This would be a big spot to break out, a chance to drive in some runs. Naquin plays very shallow in center field, and he's over towards the left center gap. So you see there's a lane out there in right center for Scope. Trying to go that way, and he fouls it off. Tomlin has the 6th best road ERA in the American League at 2.44, undefeated on the road. And the Indians in his 9 road starts have outscored their opponents 45-21. But the Orioles with 3 in the first, holding on to that 3-0 lead. Foul again, 0-2.
Yeah, there's a different confidence certain pitchers get from their team. They take the hill. Tomlin, you can tell, works fast, aggressive in the strike zone. Never lets his defense get on their heels. The Orioles love when Tillman takes the bump. Works fast, typically aggressive in the zone, so you're going to get some action. And Tomlin, not the overpower strikeout pitcher, so your defense better be ready to make some plays, and you better be throwing strikes and having them put it in play. Tomlin's done that this year.
Breaking ball popped foul, and unfortunate for Jonathan, he was so far out in front it reaches the stands. That had popped up to third, written all over it.
Yes, it did. That big breaking ball has become the most effective pitch for Tomlin here in this ball game. far as keeping the Orioles off the cutter and really slowing this team down. Not that efficiency. After that first inning, he was touched with the 3 runs, 26 pitches. He's been very effective.
So 0-2 on Scope. And fights off another one. Jonathan has 105 base hits. Manny leads with 116. Trumbo has 108, and then Manny with 105. Jones now has 98, so he's 2 away from joining that 100 club. Nothing in 2 on Scope, 2 on and 2 out. And a high fly ball to right, not that deep. Chisenhall is there, and Tomlin gets out of it. So a couple of singles after 2 down and 2 left. We are through 5. Baltimore 3, Cleveland nothing. Community hero is Tom Mooney, a volunteer from the Y in Central Maryland. Tom serves on the local Northern Baltimore County Towson Volunteer Board. He's on the Y of Central Maryland Board of Directors and is a member of the Y Philanthropy Council. He and his wife have hosted numerous social gatherings at their home in support of the Y annual campaign. We thank Tom Mooney, who inspires us through his commitment to giving back to the greater Baltimore community with the Y in Central Maryland. If you'd like to nominate someone, just go online, Orioles.com/heroes, and make your nomination for the Birdland Community Hero. Kevin Gausman back to work as we go to the 6th. He's holding on to that 3-0 lead. Top of the lineup, here's Carlos Santana, who's been on base twice. And a little bit low, 1-0. Kipnis will follow, then Francisco Lindor, 3 left-handed batters. Santana and Lindor switch hitters batting from the left side. Ball 2. Gausman has allowed only 3 hits. The leadoff double to Santana and 2 singles since. Low, ball 3. Tomlin has done a real good job since that tough first inning. Orioles have had only 3 base runners since the first, all on singles. 1 was erased on a double play, and the last 2 came in the 5th when Joseph and Jones singled after 2 down, and he got Scope to get out of it.
Yeah, he has a pretty good understanding of what he's doing with the baseball, doesn't he?
Borderline pitch. Santana didn't think it was a strike.
Yeah, it didn't look like a strike, but finally Kevin Gausman getting a call here. 3-1 pitch. I think it's tailing off that outside corner.
Way outside, ball 4. So Gausman loses Santana. That is his third walk. Fans, you can text Masson's word of the day Outback to 29292 for your chance to win a signed Chris Davis baseball and an Outback gift card from Masson. That's Outback to 29292. Brought to you by Outback Steakhouse, open for lunch every bloomin' day with over 70 combos starting at $6.99. So here is Kipnis with Santana on at first. And a strike at the knees. Wolcott seems to be one of those umpires Buck refers to. There are two kinds. Some hunt strikes, some hunt balls. He's hunting strikes.
Yeah, he is. Well, good to see the plate getting a little bit bigger here. But every hitter now questioning the ball strike call.
Double play ball. Hardy, Stoke, Davis. 6-4-3. That erases the leadoff walk at 2 down. The third double play turned in this game.
Yeah, Kevin Gausman has minimized the damage with the help of this middle infield. 3 big double plays in the ball game. J.J. Hardy starting it. Jonathan Scope cleaning it up. Big routine for those two. They've had some big ones.
Here's Lindor, 2 outs and the base is empty now. Foul back. The Orioles' 3 double plays turn have now turned 97 on the year. They've turned at least 1 double play in 5 straight games and a total of 10 double plays in those 5 games. So that erases a lot of base runners when you have that kind of defense. And the Orioles defense, which as Mike pointed out earlier, struggled with Hardy out, is all the way back up to 4th in the league in team fielding. There's a base hit to center field for Lindor. So he is 1 out of 3. The Orioles have just 1 error in the 8 games completed since the All-Star break, and that was on catcher's interference to Caleb in New York.
Yeah, defensively they have certainly settled in and really playing the way Orioles fans have come to know. I mean, this team defensively has been as good as any last 4 seasons. A lot of gold gloves scattered around this field.
And that gets Napoli up with a man on. The Indians are a very good hitting team. Obviously, they're a first-place team. And it has to be frustrating for Gausman that every inning he's pitching from the stretch. He had just the 1 inning in the second where he retired 3 in a row for a 3-up, 3-down inning. They're trying to get Napoli here to get back to the bench and get his team up. Breaking ball, swing and a miss.
Well, this is pretty impressive stuff here, watching Gausman and Caleb Joseph work. You see Donnie Hart rushing out there to get loose. Napoli now has been started 3 different ways, 3 different at bats.
Blows a fastball by a very good fastball hitter.
Well, after the changeup down and in, down in the bottom of the zone, 95, playing huge at the top of the strike zone. High fastballs come up big today for Gausman. 5 punch outs. 7 ground outs are huge as well. 3 of those, of course, big double play balls.
Pop them up foul. That'll be back in the crowd out of play. It feels like it got muggier after that rain went through. I'm sure the pitchers love that. All right, maybe not.
Oh, no, they're soaked.
Lindor on at first. 2 men down. And the dirty wouldn't chase. Now Lindor is also a stolen base threat. He has 13 steals on the year, but with a power hitter at the plate and 2 down, unlikely he would take the bat out of Napoli's hands by trying to get to second base.
Yeah, you wouldn't think they'd take that chance, run themselves right out of an inning.
2-2 with 2 down. And fights it off. So Gausman has hit 100 pitches, and yet again another extended at bat. This will be the 7th pitch coming to Mike Napoli.
See Mike Napoli's power zone, certainly likes it middle. He swung through a couple high fastballs though. See that zone, power zone extending up through the top of the strike zone. Kevin Gausman taking a few more extra seconds. Think about this payoff pitch.
And the 2-2 is fouled off late on the fastball, but he got a piece. Managers looking on. Terry Francona working on the gum. Buck Showalter working on the phone. The on-deck hitter Ramirez is a switch hitter, but then back-to-back lefties follow him. Usually don't see Kevin being this deliberate between pitches.
Well, he's really thinking this one through, and I really think that they put a lot of thought into Napoli, how they were going to attack him.
In the dirt, he wouldn't chase. Ball 3.
So he's fouled off a couple tough fastballs at the top of the zone, and that was just a change of the thought process. Caleb ran out there with a quick visit, make sure they stayed on the same page.
So Lindor will run now 3-2 with 2 down. And Napoli, who leads Major League Baseball in pitches per plate appearance, about to see his 9th. Swing and a miss. He got him. Came off speed again. He didn't give in, and Napoli goes through it. So Gausman picks up number 6. It is huge. The splitter gets Napoli to end the 6th. Is brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. By Ocean City, Maryland. Let us show you a good time in Ocean City, Maryland. Book now at ococean.com. And by University of Maryland University College. Well, the Flowers got a little bit of a drenching, not long, but they deserve a drink.
Yeah, just enough. Been smoking hot here the last couple days.
Yeah. The lawns are no longer that luscious green they once were. Machado leads off. Davis and Trumbo will follow against Josh Tomlin. Tip held on by Perez. Manny has a single in 2 trips, so he's got a 3-game hitting streak going now.
A lot of breaking balls.
It's a very effective pitch. It goes straight down towards the ground, but it breaks late.
Yeah, he gets some good movement. And enticing pitches as well.
One time he laid off. They appeal. He did not go. So 1-2 on Machado. Bouncer gloved by Tomlin. On the other hand, toss gets Manny. And one away here in the Orioles 6th. The day after the Orioles win and score 5 or more runs, you get 50% off regular menu price online orders at papajohns.com with the promo code Orioles5. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Flag court is crowded tonight. Hoping Chris Davis sends them a souvenir. Key at bat in the first inning, the RBI and that fielder's choice. They couldn't turn 2 and the inning continued. And then Trumbo hit a 2-run homer. Davis is now 0 for his last 13 and 2 for his last 19. There goes the bat. Look out. Right over the Oriole dugout.
Well, this humidity, it's everything wet and greasy. With all that stickum, the sweat gets in the batting gloves. Everybody better look out.
So Davis down in the count 0-2. And outside.
Chris Davis, a little self-talk.
Strike 3 called. Got it right in there. So strikeout number 7 and 2 men down.
A little backdoor cutter here. Getting a pretty good pitch. Chris Davis giving up on it. Looks like it's going to stay away, but works itself back over on the outer edge.
So Chris 0 for 3, but he does have the RBI on the ground out and a good hustle. Brings on Mark Trumbo with the bases empty. And there's a strike.
And Trumbo doesn't want to have to swing at that one until he gets the 2 strikes. So early on, he's got a small box out in front of the home plate that he's looking for.
Just out in front of that hanger. It's 0-2.
Trumbo, lightning quick bat. Take a look at his power zone. It is huge. It covers every third, inside, outside, up and down. Of course, his home run was inside off the plate, not even in the danger zone, but Trumbo been red hot all year long.
Tomlin goes 6-1, 190. Trumbo fouls it off. He's battling here. Tomlin has not walked a batter as usual. He's walked only 12 all year. And this is his 18th start. And he gets Trumbo. So another 3 up, 3 down inning. Third time tonight the Orioles have gone in order. We'll head to the 7th. 3-0 O's.
Park. Kevin Gausman's got it working. Fastball, top of the zone. How about the changeup to get Lindor down and away? And Naquin going down, but that is nasty. Power hitter Napoli, changeup inside. He goes down swinging. Of course, Gausman's helping himself. Last 3 innings, 3 double play balls. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote.
So Gausman back out for the 7th. He'll at least start the inning. Left-handed batters follow Ramirez, Chisenhall, and Naquin on deck. You see 103 pitches. And he's had only 1 3 up, 3 down inning. And a strike taken by Ramirez. Donnie Hart getting loose. Total of only 10 hits in this game. The O's have 6, Cleveland 4. Fastball upstairs, 1-1. Jose Ramirez, just 23 years old. He's out of the Dominican Republic, and he's already in his 4th season. Man. Down and in. He has a real good fastball tonight, Kevin does. Probably would like the command to be a little bit more consistent. Bounce off the off-speed pitch, so it's 2-2.
Yeah, changeup's been plus though. And he's actually been moving the fastball around okay. The velocity not as consistent as we've seen. Typically he'll come out chunking mid-90s and rush it up there 97, 98 at times, but he's been working in the low 90s this ball game. And every now and then you'll see him 95, 96, but not the consistent high velocity.
And this is what has led to the elevated pitch count here, is the prolonged at-bats. He's had 2 at-bats in this game, Kevin, which he eventually got a strikeout, but it took him 9 pitches. Lindor had a 9-pitch strikeout in the 3rd, and Napoli to end the 6th. To Hardy. And 1 away here in the 7th. On Tuesday, don't miss your chance to meet Orioles reliever Michael Givens. He'll be signing autographs and meeting fans at the official Orioles team store in the York Galleria. Michael will be on hand there from 11 a.m. until noon on that Tuesday before the Orioles take on the Rockies at Camden Yards. So that is Tuesday, 11 a.m. until noon at the official Orioles team store in the York Galleria. For all the details on player appearances, OriolesReach.com. Speaking of, he has a flair for the dramatic. We're talking about him, so he decides I'm going to get loose.
A double barrel out there right now.
Here's Chisenhall. Pops up the first pitch. Thank you very much. Hardy's there. And 2 down. So Gausman and out away from getting through 7 innings. Taylor Naquin coming up. He was the Indians' first-round draft pick in 2012. He went number 15 overall in that round. Now, he played in college at Texas A&M, and his teammate was Michael Wacha, who's now with the Cardinals. Wacha also went in the first round in that draft, but he went 4 picks later. So the Indians could have had Michael Wacha if they wanted to, but they went after Naquin, who had a big-time reputation coming out of Texas A&M. Wacha last year made the All-Star team in the National League and won 17 games.
Yeah.
Good fastball there, 1-1.
Naquin finally getting his opportunity with Brantley on the DL. He's actually making the most of it. Back-to-back months with 6 home runs.
Pokes it foul, 1-2. .114 pitches, now a season high for Gausman. And 2 outs and nobody on. Upstairs, wouldn't chase. And Naquin at 25 years old, a rookie in the big leagues. And he struck him out. So Gausman likely will end his night with a 3-up, 3-down inning and a strikeout of Tyler Naquin. 7th inning stretch with the Birds in front. Tomorrow, the Orioles and the Indians will wrap up the 3-game series. It'll be Vance Worley on the mound for the O's. He'll go against the ace of the Indian staff, Corey Kluber. Coverage on MASN 2 begins at 1 o'clock with those extra presented by Southwest. Then game coverage at 1:30 on MASN 2 and WJZ. We've got all the access you need right here on MASN.
Take a look at tomorrow's starters. Corey Kluber, 9 wins on the year. First Cy Young winner. 3.42 earned run average, 130 punch outs this year for Kluber. Vance Worley looking for his 3rd win. Looking to seal the deal as the rotation is starting to step up. Kevin Gausman fist bumps in the Orioles dugout. Brad Brock getting loose in the O's pen.
And there's Jeff Manship getting loose in the Indians bullpen. He came in the game last night. He relieved Bauer in the 5th. Got 3 straight outs and then left the game as Tomlin goes to work here in the 7th. Gausman with his other pitching coach, Darren O'Day.
Right. Well, talk to guys that have been through it, you know.
All the young pitchers look up to Darren. Here's Pedro Alvarez, who is 0 for 2. He has struck out and hit a comebacker. So Alvarez now 0 for his last 12 and just 4 for his last 25. There it goes. Way back and gone for Alvarez. Off the facade of the fence in the back of the bleachers. He crushed it. And number 12 gives the Orioles a 4-0 cushion. And a happy fan with a souvenir wearing a Manny jersey. Right place, right time. And another $500 for our Maryland Lottery contestant of the game, Joseph Nguyen of Kensington.
Well,
that ball was crushed.
It's a bomb. Yeah, the cutter right into the bat path. Loud noise here. Take a look at Nissan pitch track. Oh, and it cuts right to the heart of the plate, and that is the bull getting extended. This is a bomb. Would have gone on to Utah Street if not for that brick wall right there. Post. It's off up.
And that's going to do it for Tomlin. That fan is a popular guy out there. And Alvarez hits his 12th. So Tomlin will leave. Pitching change at Camden Yards. 4-0 O's in the 7th.
Lasted the 6 innings, only scattering the 7 hits, but 2 of them were home runs. And he was able to touch him for 4 earned runs. 97 pitches thrown. He attacked with the breaking ball for sure. Give way to Jeff Manship coming out of the Tribe bullpen. Uses that fastball 51% of the time. High 80s, low 90s with the heater. The breaking ball has a slider and a change to go along with it. 286 earned run average. He's been used. This will be his 36th appearance. Holding opponents down to the 226 overall average. Righty's just 194 off Manship.
They'll go to work on J.J. Hardy. Nobody down in the 7th. And a little bit low. JJ 1 out of 2 with another opposite field hit, a solid line drive single into right field. Gets ahead 2-0. Manship, another Texan. He's out of San Antonio, so he relieves a fellow Texan in Josh Tomlin. There's a strike. Tomlin saying, wow, my turn had to come here at Camden Yards. Facing all these big boppers on a humid summer night.
He actually pitched a pretty good ball game, and 4 runs, pretty good number against this Orioles offense. Kevin Gausman, really the key to this ball game, shutting down the Indians offense. Also helps to have Trumbo on your side as well. Back-to-back days with home runs in the first inning.
And guess what? Another base hit to right field. So JJ is 2 for 3. He now has 4 consecutive multi-hit games.
I like that. Most of them coming this way, and backing it up and shooting it to right field. Great head position. Clean single.
So Hardy gets on. Still nobody out. And here is Reimold, who is 0 for 2. For Tomlin, who goes 6 innings plus 1 batter, after the Trumbo home run in the first inning that gave the Orioles the 3-0 lead, was a 2-run shot. He retired 15 of the next 19 until that home run by Alvarez. So he kept this team in the game, but Gausman's been better.
Yeah. No, he was impressive. A lot of cutters away to the right-handers. Slow curveball, not really slowing down the offense, trying to get him off balance. And that was the pitch that helped set up that cut fastball as Adams getting loose.
Check swing, and he fouled it off. So Hardy is 2 for 3 tonight. And he is batting .383 in his last 16 games, including the 2 hits here tonight. Yeah, he's found his stroke. Strike 3 called on the outside corner. And when you're scuffling as Reimold is, that's what happens. Borderline pitch goes the pitcher's way.
Yeah, he setting well up on the outside corner. 2-seamer coming back, catching the edge. Sucked back in a little bit to get the call.
Now, when Buck Showalter met with the media before the game, he was asked about Hardy, and all of a sudden all these opposite field hits as Caleb comes up. Here's a strike. And the question was, is JJ deliberately using right field, or is he reacting to the way he's being pitched? And Buck said he really didn't know, but what he is noticing is because he is getting his share of hits to right field, they're defending him differently.
Yeah.
Although tonight they aren't.
Well, they're trying.
But teams are.
Yeah, they're pulling Santana over, trying to fill up that hole a little bit. They're keeping Kipnis kind of honoring the pull up the middle. So it's Santana that's trying to just fill up that hole, but JJ keeps beating it through. I think what's impressive about Hardy is his ability to stay on top of that ball away and drive it the opposite field. A lot of hitters that try to force the ball to right field, they end up looping the bat, dropping the bat head, and you see some weak fly balls. Well, JJ's staying over the baseball, so there is intent to drive it hard to the right side, and he's doing it the right way.
There's a bloop in the right field, and that's in for a base hit for Caleb Joseph. So Caleb has a multi-hit game. He has 3 consecutive multi-hit games, and is 6 for his last 10.
Yeah, you get on a nice little roll. The hits start dropping, and pitchers make good pitches, and for some reason it comes off the bat the right way and finds some outfield grass. So now's the time to grab that lottery ticket. Hits are starting to fall.
Adam Jones, who has 2 hits. Chance for an RBI. The Orioles, this is only their 3rd at bat with a runner in scoring position. They're 0 for 2. Cleveland has gone 0 for 3. So not very many chances in these situations tonight for either team. Ground ball to third. Ramirez bobbles it. Picks it up, fires across, and still gets Adam at first base. He was fortunate it fell right at his feet, so he had enough time to get it to first. But it cost him a chance to end the inning with a double play.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be a routine double play ball. Adam Jones scorches this one. It comes off hot. Gets all over Ramirez. Gets all on the body. A pretty nice recovery there. Moves down, bare hands it, and throws a strike across the diamond to get Jones.
Yeah, Adam hustling down the line there, trying to beat it out, but Ramirez fortunate it fell right at his feet. So 2 in scoring position with 2 down. That brings up Jonathan Schoop, who was 0 for 3 tonight and 2 for his last 22. That can all change with a base hit here to drive in 2. Outside, ball 1. The Red Sox are leading Minnesota 7-5 now. It was 4-1 Minnesota, then 6-4, then 7-4. Now it's 7-5. Boston batting in the bottom of the 6th. Blue Jays have played and lost. Seattle beat Toronto 14-5 behind a 7 RBI game from Nelson Cruz. Yankees lost in 12 innings to San Francisco 2-1. And Tampa Bay is underway in Oakland, tied 1-1 in the 2nd. The Rays in last place. They are 20 below 500, 17.5 back of the O's. Hardy at 3rd, Joseph at 2nd with 2 down, and 2-0 the count on Schoop, who won't chase.
He's hunting a cookie right here, that's for sure.
Line foul. Look out, JJ.
It's a slider up in the zone.
Yeah, that's frustrating for Jonathan. He picked it up. He just couldn't wait long enough.
Yeah. So hard to have that patience.
Okay, JJ, restart your heart there. Sailed right over his head. Joseph leads from 2nd. Broken bat bouncer. There's going to be a tough play. Ramirez in on it. Can't make the play. It's an infield hit and a run scores. Broken bat, little squib ground ball, and Schoop will take it. It drives in a run.
Well, that's big RBI right there. And you fight and you claw and you do what you can. Tough pitch from Manship. And just perfect placement. Manship gets snake bit. Not the best luck here. Infield single to drive in a run. Caleb Joseph got a knock off the end of the bat. You see the bare hand effort. Just over boogieing. Comes by the baseball and leaves it on the grass.
So Jonathan picks up his 57th RBI. Hardy scores. Now Jonathan can relax. He's got the base hit.
There it is.
Caleb stopped at 3rd, so it's 1st and 3rd with 2 down for Manny. Too tight, 1-0. So now, because it's a 5-0 lead, Givens is up, not Brock. Look at Callaway out to the mound.
Yeah, Callaway kind of sensing a little bit of frustration. Couple broken bat hits led to the run.
And a double play ball. The double play wasn't turned.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of things kind of mounting and going against Manship. So Callaway looks like trying to laugh it off. Keep him relaxed and keep him executing, not forcing the issue. Keep throwing the strikes and the quality pitches. Good things will happen.
You saw Crockett joining Adams, so lefty and a righty. And Joseph at 3rd. Schoop is at 1st. 1-0 on Machado with 2 down. Swing and a miss at a good off-speed pitch. So there you go, Mike. Another example. Pitching coach goes to the mound. Hitter looking fastball. Swings, doesn't get it. Strike.
Nasty slider, right? I don't think he went out there and told him to throw a nasty slider.
But I'm sure Manny was looking for a fastball.
Yeah.
Same pitch this time. Manny didn't bite. 2-1. Well, that's the Major League Baseball hitter's ego, right? You're convinced you're going to get your pitch.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, you better be thinking about the fastball, or it's going to get by you. You're going to get beat up on it.
Ooh, 2-2. Manny looked it over, thought it was low.
Man. Plate get bigger and bigger.
So instead of 3-1, it's 2-2. MM13. Scope is chased back. So this is the 6th batter that Manship has had to face. If Ramirez is able to turn that double play, the inning ends without a run. Line, Kipnis gloves, and he'll get Machado. Wow, he was played up the middle, and Manny ripped it, and Kipnis able to turn it into the out. But Pedro Alvarez goes deep, a monster shot for his 12th. 2 runs in the inning, and 5-0 O's.
You know, inside the numbers, Kevin Gausman out of the ball game, but what a line it is. 7 strong innings, scattering the 4 hits. Nothing on the board for runs. 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. Career high, 116 pitches thrown by Kevin Gausman. 74 4 strikes. And look at the changeup, 32% of the time. Yeah, he followed Dylan Bundy's lead. Quite an outing by Kevin Gausman. That's 3 quality starts by Orioles rotation. Michael Givens now out of the pen. This will be his 37th appearance. 7 wins out of the pen for the Orioles. .361 earned run average, and holding opponents down to .242 batting average. Righties just .168, but yet to figure out the lefties. .400.
And he gets ahead of Rajai Davis. Down and in all the way back to the screen. Givens last worked on Tuesday in New York, so he certainly is well rested. He allowed a 2-run home run to Chase Headley. And 2 runs allowed on the 1 hit, the home run. Davis 1 out of 2. He singled in the 5th. Swing and a miss.
Nasty right there. Threw it hard, 86 miles an hour. Tight slider.
And the 1-2, he doesn't chase. Davis has seen Givens only twice, and he's 0 for 2 against him. Fouls it off. The Indians in first place in the AL Central. They have a 6-game lead on Kansas City, or Detroit, and an 8-game lead on Kansas City. Detroit is trailing in Chicago 2-1. And Kansas City is trailing at home to Texas 7-1. Swing and a miss at a high fastball. So Givens gets a strikeout and 1 away.
Well, the exploding fastball trick. 95 top of the zone after a steady diet in the bottom. Couple sliders mixed in there. Ooh, it is coming in hot. Getting under the baseball a little bit. So the rise effect. And goes down swinging.
And now we're going to get a pinch hitter to get a lefty up there because of Givens' struggles against lefties. Abraham Almonte will come on and pinch hit for the catcher Roberto Perez. So this will have to be a 2-for-1 move. There's the catchers out of the game, so Jimenez will have to come on. Fastball for a strike. The Indians have 56 wins. There's Crockett getting loose again. Kyle Crockett. They have gone 30-13 in their division in the Central. 30-13. Swing and a miss 0-2. That is the best intra-division of any team in baseball in both leagues within the division. They're only 26-26 against everybody else, but they've dominated their division so much. That's how they've held on to first place since June the 4th.
Wow.
Here's a little tapper out in front of the plate. Givens will get to it and flips to first. Plenty of time. Gets Almonte and 2 men down. Well, don't forget you can follow Orioles baseball live with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with Game Day. You get live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone or tablet. So Givens gets the lefty. And here comes Carlos Santana. Switch hitter will bat left. Outside.
I threw a couple good changeups last at that, and that's a pitch he's been working on. Something he's trying to use to equalize against the lefties.
Johnny Hart getting loose again. Foul ball. I like the way he's mixing it up.
Yeah, another good one there. Good change up, located well down and away.
Orioles home for the first time after the All-Star break, and leading up to the break they had the 9-game West Coast road trip. Popped up shallow left. Easy play for Reimold. And he's got it. So Michael Givens comes on as a 3-up, 3-down inning. So that's at the bottom of the 8th with the O's in front, 5-0. broadcast is presented by authority of the Orioles. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. $31,946 on hand here tonight. So in the first two games in this series, the Orioles and Indians have drawn $71,304. And here's Kyle Crockett.
Yeah, coming out of the Indians bullpen. He's been up and down this year. Uses his fastball 69% of the time, though, and it's not overpowering, 88 to 92, but some deception to it. The earned run average, though, 10.80. Not used in high leverage situations. Typically some mop up or lefty matchup role, but you see the 318 overall batting average. He'll roll the ground ball, though, 63% of the outs on the ground.
He'll go to work on Chris Davis. Trumbo and Alvarez will follow. Chris is 0 for 3 at the plate, but he had the key at bat in the first inning. First and third and one down. He hit a ground ball to the second baseman, Kipnis. And Chris hustled down the line and beat the relay throw, so the Indians couldn't turn what would have been an inning-ending double play. Run scored, then Trumbo followed with a home run. Strike right there on one. Weston Adams again getting loose. Brad Brock is up again. Donnie Hart's been up a couple of times without getting in the game. Of course, Donnie has learned very quickly to look at the opposing team's lineup to see where all the lefties are. And if there's somewhere they're grouped together, that's where he figures I might have a chance to get in then. I got to be ready.
Yeah, this is a tough lineup, though. A lot of switch hitters, a lot of lefties scattered through. At the start of this ball game, they had 6 lefties in the lineup.
Davis has seen Crockett just once. He's 0 for 1 against him. The Indians bullpen is 7th in the league in ERA. Curveball bounced to first. Santana plays the hop, and he gets Davis for the out, 1 away.
And Crockett, their only lefty right now, and everybody you talk to in Indians Nation talks about the Indians needing help in that bullpen. Really, that's the only spot they're looking for.
Here's Mark Trumbo, 2-run home run in the first. He is 1 for 3 overall. He has seen Crockett once, and he's 0 for 1. Right to the shortstop. Lindor gets a nice charity hop. Trumbo retired for the second out. And here comes Pedro Alvarez, who hit a moonshot laser beam home run his last at bat. High and far and quick into the bleachers.
Yeah, pretty pure swing right there from Pedro Alvarez. His number's starting to look pretty good. Had a nice little roll a few weeks ago. You see his power zone, and that's where the cutter ended up. Backdoor cutter ended up right in the middle of the plate.
Ball on a strike on Pedro. With 2 outs and nobody on. Yeah, good take.
A pretty good pitch. Crockett not rewarded there. Nice breaking ball. See that third pitch. That's where you want to put it. I hope you get the call. Not a lot of hitters are going to be able to hit that one.
Bouncer into the shift. There's Lindor. Throws out Alvarez, and the Orioles go 3 up, 3 down in the 8th against Kyle Crockett. We head to the 9th. 5-0 O's. Brad Brock coming on. Orioles baseball on Masson is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, and nothing to hide. And by American Standard Heating and Air. For the best in home comfort, choose the brand voted #1. American Standard Heating and Air. Right now, get special financing. Find your dealer at midatlanticcomfort.com. Here's Mike Bordick's favorite part of the ballpark, the kids area.
Brad Brock now coming in out of the Orioles bullpen. Take a look at his pitch arsenal. Dominant fastball, dominant slider, dominant changeup has led to that .86 earned run average and 6 wins out of the Orioles bullpen. And an all-star game visit. Opponents hitting just 152. Righties, wow, how about no chance? 076 off Brad Brock. That cross-body delivery, tough to pick up the heater. He'll throw that sweeping slider, but the changeup has just been a devastating pitch for Brad Brock.
Kipnis, Lindor, and Napoli against Brock. And it's taken for ball 1. Kipnis is 0 for 3. Double play his last at bat. And there's a strike taken. Julio Borbon is now in the game in left field. And that moves Nolan Reimold from left to right. Trumbo's out of the game. Well, base hit up the middle for Kipnis. So, in likely his last at bat, he extends his hitting streak to 7 consecutive games. Fans, you can visit MassonSports.com/CareFirst to vote for tonight's CareFirst Fearless Player of the Game. Live fearless with the name trusted for over 75 years. CareFirst Blue Cross Blue Shield. Mr. Trumbo should get a lot of votes. Mr. Gausman should get a lot of votes.
Yeah.
Bouncer foul down the line off the bat of Lindor. Lindor has seen Brock twice, and he's 2 for 2 against him. And base hit, he's 3 for 3 against him. Kipnis will go all the way around to third. So this unexpected. Brock in his last 14 games had allowed a total of 4 hits. And he's allowed 2 hits here to the first 2 batters. And quickly that gets the closer, Mr. Britton, up.
Yeah, the lefties fare a little better than the right-handed hitters off Brad Brock, but still some pretty nasty stuff.
So Britton getting loose in case it becomes a save situation. Here's Napoli. Strike at the knees. He thought it was low. When the hitter takes that quick look back at the umpire, he's surprised at what the result was. Outside, 1-1.
Well, the strike zone's moved around a little bit, or a little bigger, I guess, than usual. There have been some low strikes. The corners have gotten a little wide at times.
Good cut, but he fouled it back. 1-2.
Got to be careful with mistakes there. Napoli, the healthy cut.
On his last 14 games, Brad has allowed 1 run, and it was an unearned run. And in those 14 games, 4 hits, 20 strikeouts.
Yeah, he has been dominant.
But he is greeted here by a Kipnis single, followed by a Lindor single. He's ahead of Napoli, 1-2. A little bit low, won't chase. So Gausman goes 7 shutout innings. 3 consecutive starts now by Orioles starters allowing 1 run or less. Tillman, Bundy, and Gausman. Swing and a miss. He got him. So Napoli down on strikes, 1 away in the 9th.
All about the angle here. That cross-body delivery, and see the hip leave just a little bit, and then it's just all reaching. When you're trying to reach and catch up to 95, makes it a little bit tougher. Napoli can't get a piece there.
Here's Jose Ramirez, the switch hitting third baseman tonight, 1 out of 3. Right there for a strike, 0-1. Orioles have turned 3 double plays in this game. Too tight.
Brad Brock would like it to end with a double play. Look at Scott Coolbaugh surrounding himself with the power hitters.
These guys really are students of hitting. They talk about it all the time, and they always seem to go over. Obviously, they have game plans to get these pitchers, but after they have an at-bat, they go over and check in again.
Absolutely.
Popped up. There's Davis in foul ground. And 2 away.
Good pitch there. Get Ramirez out in front. The weak pop up.
Well, the fans liking what they're seeing. After the back-to-back hits, a strikeout and a pop-up. Caleb was waiting for John Russell to give him a signal from the bench. He was standing out in front of home plate. He needed to alert Hardy and Scope what he'll do if Lindor breaks to second base. And there you saw John flashing the signs. He calls the pitch outs, the throwovers. And there's a ground ball foul, and whether or not Caleb will throw through if Lindor takes off.
Right, and a lot of times it's for the middle infielders, just so they hold their ground or know whether or not they're going to cover second base. And in this situation, I wouldn't suspect they'd try to throw them out. Let the infielders hold their ground and try to get this final out.
So 0-1 the count on Chisenhall. Outside. Minnesota is down by a run at Fenway Park. They're coming back. It is 8-7 Boston. Twins have the tying run at second with 2 down. Lane is in for Boston. Slice foul out of play, ball blown over, but it'll be back in the crowd. That's why you play the games. Minnesota's having a miserable year. They went into Fenway Park. Boston bombed them on Thursday night. And the Twins won a pitcher's duel last night, and tonight it's a battle. It's an 8-7 game.
Yeah. The Orioles, remember the Twins from last year, coming in and putting the hurting on them in August, kind of knocking them out of the playoff run.
First and third, 2 down, and 1 and 2 on the hitter. And the pitch is just inside, and Lindor takes second base, and the Orioles let him have it. So that will not be a stolen base. Oh, that was a close pitch.
A nasty slider.
Either he was fooled or he has a real good batting eye. I don't know how you take that pitch. Time requested by Caleb. He's all right. Let's go through this again. First time there's a runner at second base, so they have to change the signs. Line drive and a base hit in the right field, and 2 runs are going to score. Kipnis comes around, Lindor comes around, and Chisenhall to second base with a 2-run double. So the shutout goes away as Brock, 1 pitch after he nearly struck out Chisenhall, left it out over the plate.
Yeah, that's it. Just the location, stays in the middle. Some tough lefties here in this lineup, and we finally get to Brad Brock for a couple.
So now it becomes a save situation. Brad Brock upset on the mound that he allowed those runs to score. He just slammed the rosin bag down. So Britton will come on to earn the save. So the Indians not done yet. They have 2 runs in, runner at second, and Zach Britton comes on in the 9th.
Some frustration for sure for Brad Brock. Used to giving up some runs. Maybe just the execution of the pitch leads to a little frustration. And he has raised the bar for himself for sure. I'll give way to Zach Britton, though. Looking for 32 consecutive saves. Take a look at his pitch arsenal. The fastball 91% of the time. Breaking ball 9%. Good breaking ball, though. .65 earned run average. Couple wins. 31 saves in his 31 opportunities. 48 punch-outs and 41 1/3 innings of work. And not hitting much off him. Just 154 overall.
And Juan Uribe will come off the bench to pinch hit. Now this is the first time all year, as you look at Uribe's numbers, left the game last night when he was hit on the head and the helmet by Despaigne. And Brad Brock upset at his effort. First time all year Britton is working 4 consecutive days. Foul back.
You see the save percentage leader since 2014, and Chapman leading the way with 93.7. There's Zach Britton, 92.9, minimum of 40 save opportunities, and Britton has been dominant, leading the American League in saves in that time.
And it's fouled off. Now, he did work in 4 consecutive games, July 9th and 10th against the Angels, but then the All-Star break came, and then he got in the first 2 games in Tampa after the break. But this is the first time all year he's been in 4 straight days. However, he threw 1 pitch when he came on in New York on Wednesday, 12 pitches Thursday. Last night, just 3 pitches.
All right.
So certainly not overextended. And he's ahead of Uribe 1-2. Ground ball past the mound. There's Hardy up the middle. JJ will fire to first, and the Orioles win. So Britton went down literally to try to glove that ground ball, and it got past him, but it gets to JJ Hardy for the out.
We'll take a look. Nasty sinker down, and he just feet leave him. Lays down, but JJ Hardy, he knows he's back there to clean it up.
So the Orioles win it. They're short of a series win. They've now won 3 straight games and beat the Indians 5-2.